hey guys, it's Happy Howl Home, and I'm coming back, and I wanted to kind of, before I got going into videos again, kind of do another update about what's been happening in the last year or so. If you followed my channel, you know that a couple of years ago my son was diagnosed with autism, and my husband left. The reality of our marriage, it wasn't great. There was a lot of issues. We struggled. I was committed to trying to make it work. But as I began to pray and ask God for direction, he kept showing me places where, in scripture, where it was okay, if my husband wanted to go, then, I kind of had to say, go, and, we need peace in our home. And so, he made the choice to leave, and he left, and, we were kind of left to pick up the pieces and to say, how is life going to look now? We had a unique opportunity to kind of redefine our family and to say, if Daddy doesn't want to be here, that's Daddy's choice. But we're choosing to stay, and we're choosing to be a family, and we're choosing to love each other. Of course, you deal with those questions that kids have about, what does that mean for me? Trying to reassure them that it wasn't you that Daddy left, it was Mommy, and Daddy still loves you, he just doesn't love Mommy. But that's really confusing for kids. And as the year progressed, after he had left, I was noticing that there were some other challenges that I felt maybe weren't just the autism. And so we pursued outside help again. We saw some specialists, and we came up with a diagnosis of adding to the autism. We added in some ADHD, which, if you know my son, that didn't come as a surprise. And then he was diagnosed with anxiety. And as a mom who struggled with postpartum anxiety, that was really hard. Anxiety seems like such a grown-up problem, and I know what it feels like to struggle with that. And as a mama, I didn't want that for my son, but it gave me an opportunity to just learn a new set of skills and learn to love him through this, and to demonstrate my loyalty to him, and my commitment to him, and that, even when things get tough, we're still a family, and Mommy still loves you, and that sort of thing. And so I ended up realizing that the blessing of homeschool, we kept homeschooling. A lot of people said, with all these diagnoses, aren't you going to put them into public school? And I was like, no, because we can, when we go to therapy, when we go see a specialist, when he needs a 10-minute break to collect himself and to sit with his soft music and his essential oil, I can stop the class. He can have his 10 minutes. We can go to his appointment, and then when we get back, school picks up again. When you're in public school and you walk out of a classroom, the second you walk out of the classroom, that's it. They've moved on and you're not there. And so the blessing of homeschool was we were able to fit the class schedule in around all of these other appointments and therapies that he had, and he didn't have to miss anything, because we were able to stop it and start it back up again. And that's a huge benefit of homeschool when you have a child with some challenges. When he had challenging behaviors, we could stop, we could address them, and then pick back up. In a public school setting, you'd be removed from the classroom, you'd be disrupting the other people, the teacher would be pulled away, or you would be asked to leave the classroom, and the class would continue on, and you'd become further and further behind. And for someone that already has some challenges, that seemed like a really unfair situation for him to be in. My background is in adolescent mental health. I worked with young adults, older adolescent and young adults with mental health challenges. I did that professionally as a nurse. I was the nurse manager on that unit, and so it was a residential unit within a larger facility. And so a lot of these things are not foreign to me at all. How to deal with them was not foreign to me at all. And I was able to, in some senses, compartmentalize the signs and the symptoms that I was seeing as clinical, and I could kind of box that into the nursing framework that I have, and left me with the time to love on my son as a mom, but also and box in some of those signs and symptoms as just another clinical manifestation of his disorder, and it ends up being less detrimental to our relationship. There's less struggle and challenges there. Not that it's not challenging, because it is, but it didn't seem so hard and so frustrating. I found that last year, which would have been his kindergarten, technically his kindergarten year, we were working slowly through the first grade curriculum for Christian Light Education, and we were just going real slow, doing their learning to read and their math and some of their first grade work. And we really took that slow. We saw reading start to pick up, the phonetic awareness being, there. His relationship with math is phenomenal. He's really good at math. Coming into this year, we noticed that the ADHD was becoming more and more intrusive into the classroom. The anxiety was hard, and we sought out additional professional help and went the route of medication. We consulted with our pediatrician, whom we love and we trust, and we did go with some meds, and we got some more tips and tricks on how to manage the ADHD within the classroom setting. And I realized that even though we had been doing Pomodoro timers previously, I was setting those timers for too long. And one of our specialists said, really, we've noticed that it's he kind of caps at 5 minutes. And so we do 5 minutes of math, and then he does a small wiggle break. Then we do 5 minutes of language arts, and then a wiggle break. Then we come back to math, and we kind of switch it up that way, so things are always constantly moving, but are very structured. And he knows how his school day runs in these increments, and he's able to set the timer himself. And when the timer goes off, he knows he gets that little wiggle break, and we can come back. We've overhauled our curriculum again, and we've dropped Christian Light Education. It was really dry, and I thought that was going to be really good for him, just get out, get your $20 kind of thing. But he needed a little more color, and so we ended up switching to ACE math, and we were able to come in partway through the year for that on their first grade math curriculum, because we'd been doing Christian Light slowly in his kindergarten year. And so we were really able to jump in. They do a lot of pictures and math manipulatives. They have math kits that you make yourself. I'm sure you can probably purchase them through them, but we made them ourselves with stuff that we had found at various Dollar Tree and education stores and that sort of thing. And so that hands-on component was really good for him. It broke things up a bit. We've also added in Elephant Learning, which is an app that really condenses those math concepts and helps kids master them again in a very visual way and very hands-on. And you're moving, soccer balls, and you're grouping and you're taking away and that sort of thing. And then you're finding the answers, and you're filling in the answers on the sidebar. And it's a lot more interactive, and it seems to be really working for him. For English Language Arts, again, we ditched CLE, and we're using the ACE Language Arts program. ACE does not have any defined lesson, broken up into lessons, so it worked well for us to just be able to do our 5-minute increments a couple of times multiple times throughout the day. And we weren't trying to say, okay, we've got to get all of this one lesson done. He just goes and goes and goes and goes. There's parts where there's like a checkup, so to speak. And then there's self-test and quiz, and then a final PACE test. But that's a tool. We are always expanding on that. We're moving not by grade necessarily. We're just going through, and, you know, then we can elaborate on concepts as we hit them. And then I'll pull worksheets. I'll make worksheets to reiterate a concept if we need to. And we'll use a whiteboard and, you know, online resources to be able to go into more depth if we need to. So for science and social studies, I didn't want to use ACE for that. I didn't feel like it was adequate for my standard for social studies and for math and for science. So we're doing a lot of unit studies, and I'm pulling things, pre-made unit studies, ones that I'm making myself, things from Pinterest, Teachers Pay Teachers, education.com, living books. We're really working through just finding topics that are really interesting to him and trying to find history that's current to that quarter. So in September, we did a big unit study on the Constitution, and we learned all about the Constitution and the signing of the Constitution and who was there and what did that mean for us as a country. And we were able to pull in some geography based on, you know, where that was signed. And then come November, you know, we had Veterans Day and, you know, the first Thanksgiving, and we were able to talk about some of the places where some of the wars were fought, that American soldiers fought, and we were able to look those up on the globe or on a map, on an atlas, and that sort of thing. For science, again, just pulling out topics that were interesting to him. We are using the BJU, which is Bob Jones University Press, their homeschool. We're using their syllabus a bit in science to try to pull things out to make sure that we are meeting some marks and some standards. Of course, I live in a very highly regulated state, so our standards are pretty strict, and we have to do our paperwork, which I'm going to do another video for, to talk about how I do my homeschool paperwork. So yeah, that's it. We have our music and our art and our one moment. And then we do our art and our music, phys ed, health. Those again are unit studies and things that we're pulling together, swimming, you know, healthy bodies, that sort of thing. So I'm getting really long and my kid wants a snack, but yeah, so that's what we were doing for my oldest. For my youngest, that's a topic for another day, I think, 'cause this is getting long, but he has started joining us at the table for a lot of stuff, and he has his own set of curriculum. We are using the Christian Light Education Kindergarten 1 with him. He isn't due to start kindergarten until next year, but again, we're moving slow with it. I do like their kindergarten program. It is a lot of hands-on fun, which I kind of feel gets lost when you get into the upper grades, but that is kind of the way of the Mennonite culture and their how their community kind of works. But yeah, so I'm gonna run, but it's been great to catch up. Put some comments below. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know how you are doing. Link me to some of your videos. I've really been off of YouTube for a while, and it's good to be back. But I had to focus on my kids and focus on myself and on my family and focus on rebuilding us and getting us whole and healthy before I reached out to the YouTube community. But hope you're having a great week. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.